Welcome to I Know Jax, the most popular local television show at 11 p.m. on Saturdays on CW17. How's your summer shaping up? Personally, so far, I've had a very busy and productive summer with not enough time in the sun or on the beach. I'm not complaining. Busy is good and summer in Florida is far from over. I'm making plans for a big family visit. My mom and sisters are coming down to visit from Tennessee, and when they do, I want to show them what Jacksonville has to offer. Luckily for me, you've been sending me suggestions of fun things to do for summer in the city, so I have a very ambitious list of ideas. Honestly, I think my family just wants to spend time at the beach, but I'm hoping we'll get time to do some sightseeing and exploring as well. If you have suggestions or where you would go if your family was here from out of town visiting, send them to me or post it on our Facebook page. Now, I don't know if I told you that I'm a big fan of Tour de France. I love watching Tour de France racing on TV. The different stages, the strategy, all that's really fascinating to me. I know it's a little weird. It's also Sharks Week on TV, and the Jacksonville Sharks are wrapping up the season for this year. But the Jaguars are about to start. And then there's, of course, baseball. July is also the month of big movie releases, and this summer brings some huge ones. How about that new Spider-Man movie in 3D? That was amazing. See what I did there? And then there's Batman, need I say more? With all that going on, July is an exciting month. I'm also really excited to welcome my friend Mark Wisdom, also known as the Beer Guy, back to talk about craft beer. Today we're at the North Star substation in the cool, checking out some beer with the Beer Guy, Mark Wisdom.
I'm the Beer Guy.
He's the Beer Guy. Today we're going to drink some beers. What kind of beers are we going to drink?
We're going to look at Pilsners today.
Because Pilsners are?
Well, lawnmower beer.
Lawnmower!
It's hot outside. You just got done cutting the grass. You want something cool, refreshing, crisp. That's gonna pick you up. It's gonna quench that thirst that you just worked up in the backyard because, you know, the wife said go cut the grass and you said I don't want to. I don't know. They always say that though.
It's every Saturday.
I know.
Same thing.
It's hot out.
I know, but we have beer to come.
We have beer.
Speaking of beer.
Beer break.
Beer break.
Oh, that's pretty tasty.
It's beer.
It's beer.
It's good beer.
Can't be bad if it's beer, right?
Beer is good.
Beer is good.
So a Pilsner is, there's basically three types.
Okay.
There's a Czech Pilsner, there's a German Pilsner, and there's a Continental Pilsner.
Okay.
The Czechs, Pilsner, like Pilsner Urquell. Okay. It's a very common beer.
Sounds like a difficult thing to say.
It can be. You got to do a practice with it sometimes. But it's a Czech style, and the Czech styles have a lot of maltiness to them, and generally have a strong bitterness, but not an overpowering bitterness.
Gotcha.
And then you've got the German Pilsners, and the Germans, they've really, I mean, everybody thinks when they think Pilsner, they think Germans a lot of times.
Yeah.
The Germans really, they put a lot of malts into it, but not nearly as much as the Czechs.
Okay.
So it's backed off on the malts a little bit, but it's amped up a little bit in the hops.
Okay.
And then you've got the Continental styles. The Continental styles are, and a lot of people don't know it, but Stella is a Continental style Pilsner.
Didn't know that.
They're balanced, so they're neither hoppy nor malty. They're just sort of right in the middle.
Okay.
So you've got a lot of character there, and you've got a pretty good.
In the continent.
Well, you're one, and you've got the ability to go with a lot of different foods that way.
Right.
But when you're drinking a Pilsner, you know, it's a good beer to drink around the barbecue pit with the dogs and the burgers and the steaks and the chicken and whatnot.
Right.
But the best thing, right out of the cooler, right out of the ice chest, pour it into a glass because, you know, drinking out of a glass is better at any time.
Yeah.
And then just cooling off in the shade with a nice Pilsner, enjoying it, enjoying the nice warm weather outside, having a great time with it.
And it's nice to have cold, but not too cold.
You know, that's exactly right. A lot of people will say, oh man, I have to have my beer ice cold.
They've seen all the commercials, so they know.
And they have seen the commercials, and there's a reason why the big guys want you to have beer that is super ice cold. But I always say ice cold is too cold for beer.
Right.
Because you lose the flavor. When a beer is too cold, it kills the taste buds, and you can't get the beer flavor anymore. Right. And like I said, there's a reason why the big boys want you to drink their beer super cold. I'm not saying. this is not one of the big boys beers.
So a cool beer in a hot afternoon is a great way to go, and the one to pick would be a Pilsner.
I think so. I think a Pilsner is a perfect choice. It's crisp, it's refreshing, it's not overly sweet. It is going to take care of that thirst that you built up.
And man, I get thirsty.
I do too.
I guess let's wrap it up right here.
Okay.
Pilsners are good on a hot day if they're served cold, like all beer. And we'll see you guys again next time with the Beer Guy.
See you next time.
With the Beer Guy.
With Beer Guy.
I enjoy acting on impulse. Pack an overnight bag, hop in the car, and head out on the road to see where it'll take you. Right now, that's far from my reality. When I hop in the car, my biggest challenge usually consists of beating rush hour traffic to get somewhere on time. But hey, who says things can't change? Isn't it all about priorities and what's important in life? I need more road trips and weekend getaways in my life. How about you? Please don't zap me with that remote. It hurts my feelings. I'll be right back with more important reflections on life right after this. I Know Jax is supported by these great businesses. CoastalCompanion.com, your guide to fun things to do on the coasts of South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Check out our free Grillin' and Chillin' ebook full of summer recipes. Checkers Barbecue, where they specialize in cracker-style seafood made fresh by owner Art Jeanette, the king of cracker cooking. Come get your hot shrimp, baby! CamdenHappenings.com for all things Camden County. Make sure to join the CamdenHappenings.com newsletter for the latest Lovetown USA updates along with local event info. More weekend road trips. That's the first item on my agenda for adding more fun to my life. A while back, I went on a road trip to South Carolina and visited Georgetown County. It's a beautiful area to visit in the summer. Just take a look. We set course for Georgetown County just south of Myrtle Beach. This area is known for its sandy beaches, unspoiled nature preserves, fresh seafood, great restaurants, golf, and loads of southern hospitality. The quaint city of Georgetown is the county seat. In this area of coastal South Carolina, you'll find well-known destinations such as Pawleys Island, Murrells Inlet, Huntington Beach, and Georgetown. When I visited the area, we stayed at Huntington Beach State Park. The beach there is beautiful and you can walk or segway on many trails. Another interesting place to visit is Brook Green Gardens with its many sculptures and beautiful gardens. Sunset at Murrells Inlet. In the evening, Murrells Inlet is a popular destination with its many restaurants where you can relax and enjoy the sunset. I really enjoyed my visit, and I can't wait until I get a chance to go back to Georgetown County again. It's been hot and humid lately, as it should be. After all, it is July. Sometimes you just long for relaxing indoors and getting out of the heat just a little bit. How about adding some culture to your life? Here are a couple of events that are going all out to add a little bit extra spice to your summer evenings. First, there's Reefer Madness. You heard it. The movie was made as a propaganda film back in 1936, teaching parents about the dangers of cannabis. It went under the title, Tell Your Children. The movie didn't become popular until the 70s when it was re-released and became a cult film. It's been made into a musical, and the show features a retro rock score with music ranging from jazz and doo-wop to rock and disco. Lovable teens Jimmy Harper and Mary Lane hold hands, sip hot cocoa, and think pure thoughts while studying Shakespeare. When Jimmy is lured to the reefer den, he makes a terrifying transition from a good egg to a bad apple. Under the influence of drugs, sex, and rock and roll, he mouths off to his parents and leaves poor Mary shocked and heartsick. Is love going to save him? You can watch Reefer Madness at Players by the Sea starting July 20th. How would you like to relax in a nice, cool theater, watch a movie during the hottest part of the day? The Florida Theater is one of those theaters that have an old-timey feel with gold and red velvet. And during the summer, you can watch classic movies on the silver screen the way people used to. Next up is Mutiny on the Bounty from 1962 with our buddy Marlon Brando. This movie screens at the Florida Theater on Sunday, July 22nd at 2 p.m. and on Sunday, July 29th is the Philadelphia Story with Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn and James Stewart. There's a classic cult film screening this month. It's the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and it's being screened at Mocha, accompanied by an onstage reenactment by the Five and Dime Players. And audience participation is welcomed. It's 8 p.m. and midnight on July 28th. I always enjoy spending time in nature, going camping, hiking, kayaking, or just riding a bike, being outdoors. Lately, I've just had a hard time fitting outdoor time into my schedule. And what did I say earlier? It's all about prioritizing. Put it down. Don't you dare touch that remote. I'll be right back with more sage advice about how to have fun. I Know Jax is supported by these great businesses. CoastalCompanion.com, your guide to fun things to do on the coasts of South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Check out our free Grillin' and Chillin' ebook full of summer recipes. Checkers Barbecue, where they specialize in cracker-style seafood made fresh by owner Art Jeanette, the king of cracker cooking. Come get your hot shrimp, baby! CamdenHappenings.com for all things Camden County. Make sure to join the CamdenHappenings.com newsletter for the latest Lovetown USA updates along with local event info. In this episode, I've appealed to the artsy people in our group by talking about the highbrow art classics such as Rocky Horror and Reefer Madness. Our wine segment contains neither horror nor madness. It's simply a country boy from Georgia and a British wine snob getting together in the cozy wine room at Blue Bamboo talking about wine. Today I'm at Blue Bamboo with the wine guy, Chris Chislett. How's it going, Chris?
Not too bad, thank you.
So today you're going to teach us something awesome.
Yes, again, I'm going to try. So, it's like pulling teeth. No offense, mate.
No.
So, body in wine.
Women.
Yeah, I know, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Water?
Body in wine. It's, before we start opening wine, because I'm desperate to open some wine,
I'm
start
really
tasting wine with him and see what things that he says. Body in wine, the easiest way to think of it, I actually use a reference going back to milk.
Okay.
It sounds crazy.
Doesn't taste anything.
Yeah, none of these taste like milk, I promise you. But the easiest way to think about body when you're thinking about wine is referring to milk. So in this lineup here, at least just thinking about the whites, we've got a Riesling, we've got a Pinot Grigio, we've got a Chardonnay.
Okay.
When you're thinking about body, I'd almost think of like a Riesling as like skim milk.
Okay.
So just very light, very delicate.
Right.
Jumping up a little bit, you go to, I guess like a 2%.
Right.
So a little bit heavier. And then with the Chardonnay that we have right here, I'd almost think about you know, like a full fat
Whole milk.
Yeah. So I mean, if you think about that, it's almost like the length of time it kind of spends on your palate. You know, skim milk, a Riesling, whatever. It's there, then it's gone.
Right.
A little bit heavier. You know, you can almost count the seconds that it's still kind of spending on your palate. And then with the Chardonnay in this case, it's you know, it's with you forever. You can probably taste it still after a minute. So same idea with the reds. Light, medium, full body. We have a Pinot Noir, Merlot, and a Cabernet.
Now that's in general. Obviously, there's some stuff that falls in between there.
Absolutely.
There's always exceptions.
Yeah,
to the rule.
But it's when you start drinking wine, when you start thinking about wine, it's a really good rule to use because you want to. I mean, not over analyzing wine all the time, but at least you can start, you know, kind of thinking in.
That's what we're here for, man.
Yeah, I know. Just getting way in depth. This is, I mean, this is fairly in depth, you know, stuff for your average wine drinker, but. It also is like, you know, alcohol level can contribute to body, the amount of oak in a wine as well. So as you move up, both in whites and reds, the amount of oak gets heavier.
More alcohol content, typically?
Typically higher alcohol, typically higher oak. Same idea with it. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Just chugging it, slinging it back. So yeah, more oak up this way, generally more more alcohol up that way, and same idea with the reds.
Nice.
It's a good, you know, if you're not into the oaky, big, buttery kind of flavour, generally you'd skew.
He was saying buttery in case you didn't. There you go. In case you didn't
know. Sounds cool when I say it. I don't care what you say.
I just wanted to make sure I translated for the folks at home.
Thank you. Yeah, we need subtitles.
And speaking of translating for the folks at home, I'm going to try and sum this up and see if I've learned anything.
Please do.
All right. So we're going light body over.
Yes.
This is like skim milk. This is like 2%. This is like whole milk.
I love it.
Right?
Go on.
And that has to do with how long that spends on the palate, how long it lasts in your mouth, so to speak.
The weight.
And the same thing translates into the reds as well.
Absolutely. Weight of it, you know, the length of time it spends on your palate, like the finish.
Cool.
Of course, there are, you know, a few exceptions.
So I nailed it.
You did. I mean, you know, we can throw you through a loop and, you know, have a Chardonnay, obviously, in like a medium body because it's French, but let's not even go there.
I tell you what.
That's baby steps.
I'm going to go out on a high note. Since I was able to get that little bit, we're going to stop here, and then next time we'll learn something else really cool. Treehill Nature Center is a 50-acre nature oasis smack dab in the middle of Arlington. It's a perfect place to take your kids to learn about nature, walk the nature trail, and visit the animals. They also have a butterfly garden and are probably most known for their annual butterfly festival here in Jacksonville. Did you know that you can have your own little backyard habitat for bees and butterflies? It's amazing how much activity a small butterfly garden will have. I often get asked, what kind of plants do I need to start? So I decided to ask the experts over at Treehill about what it takes to start your own butterfly garden.
Today we're going to talk a little bit about butterfly plants and the proper plants to plant in your butterfly garden. Here at Treehill Nature Center in the spring, we start to plant various types of plants. And one of the biggest questions that visitors ask me every year is, how do I attract butterflies to my garden? Well, when you start a butterfly garden, you want to really focus on the types of plants. First, you have nectar plants and you have host plants. A host plant is a plant that a butterfly is going to lay an egg on, and it's going to hatch out into a caterpillar. If you have host plants in your garden, you're going to have butterflies. It's just a matter of fact. They're going to come there because they know that's a food source for their eggs and for their caterpillars. Now, some of the other plants, the nectar plants that we have that we plant as well, are things like, I have here in front of me, this is a Penta. You can find this at your local garden center. It is not a native, but it is a butterfly plant, and it is a Florida-friendly plant. It has nice, big, bright red flowers, attracts hummingbirds as well as butterflies. It's a good nectar source. Some of the other plants that we have that we do plant, this is a lantana. This type of lantana is a non-invasive. There are certain types of species of lantana that, when we say invasive, we mean that they will escape out of your garden and go into other areas and compete for the native plants. So what we try to do is we try to, one, keep an eye on the plants that we plant in the garden and plant mostly natives, as well as plants that are good nectar sources. We have other plants like plumbago, plants like salvias. Different salvias have bright blue flowers, brown flowers, pink flowers, all different types of colors that can add a little bit of interest to your garden as well as feeding your butterflies. Now, if you want to attract the biggest variety of butterflies, you want to have the biggest variety of plants. So we plant a mix of host plants, which will attract butterflies laying eggs, as well as nectar sources that we have available to us, say at a garden center or at a native plant shop or something like that.
That's it for this week's show. Let me know how your summer is going and what you're doing for fun. Share some of your photos with me. Here's one that Road Trip Jack shared with us on Facebook to illustrate the dog days of summer. Please share some photos of you or your pets, I guess, so we can use them here on the show. And don't forget to sign up for our newsletter or our website at iknowjacks.com. That way you will always get the latest information about upcoming events and get-togethers and new contests and giveaways from us. I hope you have time to get out in the sun over the weekend and enjoy your summer. I'll be back next week, and until then, I'll see you on the internet. I Know Jacks is supported by these great businesses. CoastalCompanion.com, your guide to fun things to do on the coasts of South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Check out our free Grillin' and Chillin' ebook full of summer recipes. Checkers Barbecue, where they specialize in cracker-style seafood made fresh by owner Art Jeanette, the king of cracker cooking. Come get your hot shrimp, baby! CamdenHappenings.com for all things Camden County. Make sure to join the CamdenHappenings.com newsletter for the latest Lovetown USA updates along with local event info.